Royalty. Born in castles, buried in drama. While some monarchs built empires with diplomacy and divine right, others brought the whole crown crashing down with a cocktail of lust, betrayal, and straight-up murder. Today we're digging into 5 royal scandals so catastrophic, so chaotically messy, they didn't just cause gossip, they rewrote history. Buckle your britches, because this is going to get wild. Let's start with the ultimate empress upgrade, Zetian. Born a concubine in the Tang dynasty, she clawed her way through the imperial ranks, using ambition, brains, and maybe a little bit of poison. How ruthless was she? She allegedly smothered her own infant daughter just to frame the sitting empress. The fallout. The empress lost her mind, literally, and was banished to a nunnery, screaming that Wu was a devil in silk robes. Wu moved in, married the emperor, and never looked back. She then proceeded to eliminate rivals, exile her sons, and clean house with more backstabbing than a Real Housewives reunion. And she capped it all off by declaring herself emperor, not empress, of China. One woman, one throne, no mercy. Beyond the poison and palace intrigue, Zetian was a master of propaganda. She commissioned official histories that whitewashed her rise, brushing aside the darkest rumours, and recast rivals as traitors. Portraits and poems praised her brilliance while erasing inconvenient facts. Essentially, she flipped the narrative before spin doctor was even a term. She also had weird obsessions, like ordering thousands of Buddhist statues carved at the Longmen grottos, flooding temples and launching construction binges that emptied the royal treasury. Some say she did it to earn karmic merit. Others think it was just her way of flexing. From China's Iron Empress to Rome's most chaotic frat bro. Enter Caligula, who started his reign cutting taxes and ended it allegedly, sleeping with his sisters and threatening to make his horse a senator. He once made Rome's top aristocrats fight gladiator duels for his amusement. No training, no rules, just ancient Hunger Games. Imagine Trump tossing Hillary Clinton into the octagon and yelling, "Finish her." He spent public money like a certain New York mayor, or two, declared himself a living god, and had people executed mid-banquet for not laughing at his jokes. Eventually, even his bodyguards were like, "We'd rather take our chances with lions," and took him out in a hallway. Caligula wasn't just erratic, he was theatrically narcissistic. He would show up at family dinners dressed as Hercules, declare personal victories over the sea in ships dripping with gold-plated shields, and demand people worship him on the spot. Ancient sources claim he once brought in a flood of exotic animals and threatened to hold a triumph over Poseidon himself. He also had a soft spot for cruelty disguised as a prank. Said to have fed rats and snakes into senators' bedrooms and offered massive cash prizes to spectators who could avoid losing their lunch at his chaotic spectacles. It was like C-SPAN, hosted by a deranged comedian with too much power. Next up, Margaret of Anjou. A queen so controversial, she basically launched England's 15th century version of Real Housewives, War of the Roses. Margaret was married to King Henry VI, who, how do we say this nicely, was not all there. He suffered from bouts of catatonia, so Margaret did what any power-hungry noblewoman would: she took over. But her influence and rumoured affair with Henry's close ally, the Duke of Somerset, ignited a political inferno. The gossip that her son wasn't even the king's, just a little medieval "who's your daddy" moment that split the court in two. Her enemies painted her as a scheming foreign seductress because of, well, misogyny, and her aggressive moves on the battlefield only fed the narrative. But messy or not, Margaret was out here calling shots, raising armies, and turning England into a dynastic war zone. Margaret's reputation hinged on her temper, and she used it like a political weapon. She once stormed into the parliamentary chamber, flung chairs, and demanded support for her noble allies. As historian Paul Murray Kendall put it, she ruled with the fierceness of a lioness protecting her cubs. That kind of raw energy earned both fear and admiration. She also had a flair for loyalty and a weakness for trust. She heavily relied on Thomas, Duke of Gloucester, only to be devastated when he switched sides and sold her out. That betrayal sparked personal vendettas that rippled into whole battles and sealed Margaret's fall from power. If you thought Meghan Markle had royal drama, let me introduce Princess Stéphanie of Belgium. Her life was a cursed fairy tale, with syphilis, secrets, and scandal galore. She was married to Crown Prince Rudolph of Austria, a man with mistresses, mood swings, and possibly syphilis, which he reportedly gave her. Their marriage crumbled. Then came the Meyerling incident. She wakes up one morning to news that her husband and his teenage mistress have died suddenly at a remote hunting lodge under extremely suspicious circumstances. After Meyerling, Stéphanie spiralled into conspiracy mode, believing shadowy factions plotted her downfall. She allegedly stalked courtiers with secret love letters, mailed suspicious packages to hospitals, and covered her bedrooms in curtains to stop bugs planted by enemies. Paranoia became her full-time royal job. Stéphanie was cast out of court life, remarried a nobleman beneath her station, and was disowned. Later, she became a surprisingly modern influencer, publishing fashion columns, backing charities, and dabbling in war relief funds during World War I. All while homeless, impoverished, and cut off from Belgian gold. A fallen princess who went from palace salons to soup kitchens. She eventually published a tell-all memoir that spilled enough royal tea to flood the Danube, and her own daughter sued her over it. And finally, the OG empress, whose reputation still rides in on a horse, Catherine the Great. Spoiler alert, no, she didn't die in bed with a stallion, but her real-life scandals are way juicier. She staged a literal coup against her husband, Tsar Peter III, while wearing a military uniform. Then she ruled for over 30 years, bed-hopping through a string of politically convenient lovers while modernising Russia and dominating Europe. And yes, there were horse rumours. No evidence, just 18th century trolls. You know the gossip. She died in bed with a stallion. Classic fake news. Her real scandal, turning her personal relationships into political strategy so powerful, it reshaped Russia. Catherine was a legendary letter writer. She carried on banter-style correspondence with Voltaire, Diderot, and other Enlightenment heavyweights, dropping hot takes, literary gossip, and philosophical roast sessions. She also penned secret letters to her lovers, giving us glimpses of her emotional side. Ambitious, witty, and criminally thirsty. She could be petty too. When a theatre actor tried to woo her for money, she had him blacklisted, not murdered, but banned from the stage for life. And when her son Paul antagonised her in letters, she responded by building a fortress on his territory just to annoy him. Classic Catherine shade. So there you have it. 5 royal scandals so messy they cracked crowns, collapsed dynasties, and changed entire nations. From murderous moms to naked emperors to memoir-writing widows. One thing's clear, being royal doesn't make you noble. Which scandal shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments, and if you're thirsty for more royal tea, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell faster than Caligula could ruin a toga party.